Okay, all right. Are you ready? I don't know. I don't know where.
Patty was downstairs a second ago.
Oh, okay, so she'll be joining us. All right.
Yeah, maybe I'll just run down.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
I was just looking for Bob Atchison.
I'll go get that. Yeah, that'd be great, thanks.
She was supposed to be downstairs. I just saw her.
So we understand Patty's in the building. We're trying to get her here so we can start the meeting. I don't want to start without her if she's here. Well, we need a quorum. Well, we have a quorum. I mean, we don't. That's right. We need 3 to have it. Because I was too quick to think that we would be okay with that at the town meeting.
Oh, I see Bob in there.
Yeah, there's I was there.
Great.
How come it's under Chris Dittmeyer? Or is it just different screens?
No, she should be on without her.
I see. I got you.
Yeah, that's a different screen. Each name is a screen,
Okay.
and some of them have their video on, some of them. Pretty fine. Okay. She was the only one you see the right way around. We'll start. We can't start without. So
Yeah, let me run and just see.
where did you see her?
She was just in the office, like literally 2 minutes ago.
Am I supposed to see
The town office?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just looking outside the building.
Oh. Then we have stuff to sign too over here.
Is that the Tagosh, Vermont Energy?
No, this is other stuff.
Because I actually wanted to,
This is other stuff. I don't know.
other stuff,
And they might be in there too. But I don't know.
well, I have copies too, so
I'm gonna wait to
get to it.
Later.
I think Bram's got it in his phone.
Yeah, I think Brandon's got. Are you talking about the thing from which outfit?
Excuse me, Jim?
Which thing were you referring to?
Yes, that is.
This thing from Vermont Energy.
Vermont Energy in
Contract.
Burlington, yeah, it's
It's
yeah, it started on the.
10 years since needs to go.
He asked me,
Is that the-
he asked me to be here just to explain what the task for.
Oh, gosh. Hello.
Hi, Patty, found us. Hi, Patty.
Hey.
Hi, Patty.
I want to see your hey.
Got a seat for you.
Thanks. We're by the camera, yeah.
All right, so let's start the meeting. This calling the meeting to order of the Plainfield Select Board. My name is Jim Bolts. I'm the chair of the Select Board. With me is Patty
Jamelli.
sorry, and
Okay.
Carl Bissett. Correct. And I'm looking for my copy of the agenda. Here, I know I have my own copy that someone had to use. Because I had notes on it, so give me 1 second. I have it right here. Because I had it here. At any rate, are there any changes to the agenda?
Well, I just have a request. Bob Atchison wanted to talk about the, oh, there's Bob right there.
Yeah,
I just thought you wanted to speak early, Bob, or no?
want to talk about what?
The bike, the energy charging station by the, by the Mill Street.
We have on the agenda is discuss town EV chargers. Is that what
Right,
you're talking
exactly,
about?
but I thought that he might have a conflict and he requested to move forward. Is that the case, Bob?
Yeah, I'd prefer to go early because I've got to be into Montpelier at 7 o'clock.
Okay, so we can put you first, if that's where you two.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll do that and then when we get to that. Then there was another addition that came in on email. that I had my copy of it. What was the reason I did it? We need to add a emergency management expenditure.
Yeah, here's the second copy.
Right, so that,
To be
I'd
signed.
like to add that to the agenda. We can put that in. Whenever Michael, it involves Michael, so we can put it in.
I'll be-
when he's doing his thing, so that would be. After update on Bean Road, is that all right?
Yes.
That's fine.
So that,
Yeah,
yeah, doesn't have to wait around as long.
I'm fine.
Okay, we could move the update on Bean Road up earlier too, which is why, is that all right with people? Well, we want to get to Bob.
I see a hand up.
So that's-
I don't know if that's anything to do with the agenda change.
And Charlie, Scott, you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you. I was just curious, are the public questions or comments at the beginning of the meeting or the end? I believe you said they were at the beginning, so I just didn't want to miss that. Because I
Yes,
do have a question, if possible.
Yes, we're gonna get you in a minute.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure I'm
it's at
in the right place.
Yeah, that's the beginning, okay. That involved, there aren't any more changes to the agenda, I don't think, we just added that one item.
Yep.
Are there any announcements? Yes, Mike.
Hazard Mitigation Committee is going to hold a special meeting on Wednesday that it's not part of our regular schedule. We're going to have a public forum about the implications of an overly strong solar storm. There is one brewing that may hit the town at the end of next week, so we wanted to try and have a preparatory meeting. So
Okay.
that's next Wednesday at 7 at Town Hall.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, now, any public comment? Charles, Scott,
Yes.
go right ahead.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm Charles Scott. I'm an alumnus of Goddard College, and with the announcement that the college is under contract for sale, I had two quick questions. Number one, does the board or the town know who the buyer is? And number two, if the buyer is a private developer and not an educational institution, how will the town ensure that the campus is developed for the benefit of the larger community? What process will be put in place to see that there's appropriate redevelopment? Thank you very much.
Okay, I don't know, I don't know who the buyer is, do you know anything?
Go ahead.
Malone,
Yeah,
Malone Properties.
I heard it was a local developer called Malone Properties.
Okay,
And I don't know that it has, I think that's the rumor mill. He has a track record of, building different commercial buildings and so forth. The town has reached out to him, although he hasn't acknowledged anything, probably because there hasn't been a public announcement saying we'd like to have just a meeting and just to hear what's going on.
Okay, well,
yeah, I share your concerns, I'm just not sure how much we can do, but we're gonna try to do the best we can.
I have I understand that there's a meeting to be held Saturday at 3 o'clock to talk about Goddard. I don't know where it is, but there is a meeting
At
for
Goddard.
by local folks. It's at Goddard.
It's at Goddard.
So that would be something people should go to. If they're interested.
That property-
It was
So
3
the-
o'clock on.
And speaking to that, as a person who was a former faculty at Goddard as well as an alumnus, I can say that they have invited someone from the developer to be there, and they've invited someone from the board of directors to be there, but they do not know that either will be there. And so it may be just people who are just worried and expressing their concerns, but it would be nice if either of the board or the developer were available.
Yeah, that would be great. But it might be useful for people to get together and to talk about what they might want to do, depending on what they find out.
But as a zoned residential rural, I would assume that there would be a considerable amount of zoning board and development board review of projects because of its residential zoning.
It's depending on what he proposes, you'll have to follow the law, meet all the requirements. So it just depends on what he proposes.
Okay, I thank you very much for answering my question and giving me time to make the comment. I appreciate that sincerely.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any public comments they'd like to make? All right, I don't hear any, so why don't we go ahead and do the discuss town EV charger with Bob Atkinson now, since he has other things he needs to do. Do you want to tee this up for us, Bob? We can't hear you. Bob, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
I didn't let him know that.
I don't know, it doesn't show him as being muted, so
Bob, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
we can't hear you.
Still can't hear you.
Interesting, because we heard him a minute ago.
You were audible before.
How about that? Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
That's good?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So following up, as was mentioned at the town meeting last week, I pulled up some suggestions for the donation box to be mounted on the post that holds the device. And I emailed back and forth with Bram a little bit this week. And we found one that is in the neighborhood of $60 to put on the post. I don't know if we can share the screen here, but I'll try. Nope, the host has disabled it. So anyway, it looks kind of like a mailbox that might be mounted on the face of your house. This one has a slot that's covered by a flap that you can lift up to put the money in. And we had problems before, even though the slot was on the side face of the box, a driving rain or something would get some moisture in there, and the money would get wet, particularly bills, or if somebody wrote a check, it would be a disaster. So this costs $44.85, and with the shipping, it comes up to around $60. So I would suggest that we purchase it. I'm not sure what the process is. I think before, sometimes I would buy something and then submit a receipt to Linda Wells and be reimbursed for that. And in some places we had an account with the Energy Federation Incorporated, I think. But the other question, as long as you think it's a good idea, it has a couple of keys that come with it. It's made of probably regular metal. There's one that's also available for $375. It's made of 1/4-inch steel, but it doesn't have a waterproof feature, and it's just a whole lot of money, I think. And it goes back to locks are for honest people, and you do the best you can.
Okay,
So I'll check there. And color choices are red, green, blue, black, gray, or white. And I thought that, the red commands respect and draws attention to it. The green is probably green for wanting to keep, green things going on our planet. And I guess probably the red is okay with me.
Which color did you say?
Red,
Red, okay.
yeah. Does that work for everybody?
Red is fine, but Bram, how can he?
Well, I think we're okay. If we're talking between the $100 range, I think we're within
So
budget.
he can.
Yeah,
How
he
should-
can do it and I'll reimburse.
I have a question.
Just 1 second. So Bob, is that all right with you if you pay for it and go to Bram and get reimbursed?
Say it again, please.
Are you okay with buying it yourself and then bringing the receipt to Bram and getting reimbursed?
Yeah, I just need the EIN number so we don't get taxed on it.
I'll get it to you tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be
Great.
good.
I have a question.
And then Michael has a question. Go ahead.
Bob, can you hear me?
Yep,
Okay, I was there when there was a discussion about the kind of metering, and also understanding that if it's a cash payment and a vandalism occurs, again, all the contents of the box will disappear. What have you learned about using a different kind of metering system that would actually take credit cards and do cash-free transactions based on the amount of electricity actually used? What
Well,
research have you?
the problem is that, you know, first of all, they want to use their own equipment. So like, ChargePoint, for example, wants something like $4,000 to install the setup, which I think maybe they have to put in their own Wi-Fi. They have to put in their selection of charger. And then they want an admin fee of something like $20 a month to continue through that. I've also checked with Flow, which is a Canadian company, and they do quite a bit of business in Vermont and around, and their fees are similar. But you know, the price of the charging unit itself is $600. It's already Wi-Fi enabled. We're at one time going to have Positive Pi host it with their Wi-Fi, just so that you could connect to it as a consumer and see if your vehicle was charged yet, or you know, if the charger had gone back to idle, very minimal amperage, you could tell that your car was charged up. But
Well,
you know, I don't think
that's good to
been-
know, because I think most of the arguments about the loss of true income at that charging station probably didn't take into account how much
Yeah.
extra it would cost to do that kind of charging system. So thank you.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed.
So anyways,
And I think I will plead guilty to, like, during COVID, I used to be fairly regular at picking up the money and getting it to Linda, and Dave Strong would occasionally stroll down there and take some money out and bring it back too. But it doesn't matter, you know, I mean, I could have picked it up every week and still somebody could have come by and taken the money, and I don't know how much money was in there because it's gone. It can't be counted.
Right. So you'll talk to Brand about arranging to buy this and getting reimbursed.
Yep, great. And
Yeah.
just I will get a little plastic, um, like a little stand-up placard thing, and put that on the top of the box so that the directions are right there to be read. The kiosk provides light to that side of the pole so people can read it even at night, and it also illuminates the meter on the backside so people can tell how many kilowatt hours they've used and pay appropriately. So
Just on that point, I think that we ought to make this, Bob, we ought to make this as simple as possible, and people reading
Right.
meters and this and that literally say, you know, and I maybe come up with a number about first hour, you know, $3, second hour, you know, $2, I don't know, whatever, something that people don't really have to think too much and can just drop the money in.
yeah,
So why don't you work that out with Bram when you're talking about getting the reimbursement?
pardon me?
Work out what the sign's gonna say, how much you're gonna charge. You work it out with Bram, that's fine with me. Is that all right with you
Yeah,
guys?
okay. Yep.
Great, thanks.
But we can try it at either way, or you know, and it is a quote donation box. That's the only way we can do it. We can't officially charge because we're not a power company.
Right,
He would be on our case for that, right? But you can't charge for electricity. So
Right.
anyway, we're good with it. Thank you very
Okay.
much, guys.
yeah, thank you,
You got
appreciate
us?
your. All right,
Enjoy.
we're on to the next item, which is the road foreman's report. Is Michael Bingham on or around?
Michael actually couldn't make the meeting tonight.
Okay,
Let me bring up, let's do this other stuff and I can bring that up later.
okay, that's fine, we'll return to that later.
Yeah,
All right. Town clerk's report.
so essentially, I will, you know, issue something regarding the reforms that were made in the town. We have three major reforms. One is moving the select board from 3 to 5. And then the appointments of the town clerk and the treasurer. On the appointments, and expanding the board. In the past, it was possible for the current select board to simply appoint other members. That's not possible right now. I know, you have very, you stood up and just wanted to do one meeting, and this is gonna be a little bit of a pain in the neck, and I hope you can hang in there for this. Basically, we have to call a special election in order, even if there are no candidates, the act of calling the special election and having it, even if no one wins, then the select board is sanctioned to reform. This has to do with the legislature not properly addressing the issue of what is a vacancy. Because when you expand the board to 2, those 2 extra seats are not considered a traditional vacancy. So we have to have an
And
election.
you're saying, what I'm trying to say, so if we
That
have an
election-
election, and even if no one runs, then we could appoint.
Yes, exactly. So the election, the timing of the election will be as follows. We're gonna piggyback. We are inundated with elections because of the school stuff. We're having one next week. To schedule a separate one in between now and the August primaries is complicated and onerous. So the best thing we can do on August 13th, there are going to be presidential primaries. We will warn the select board election as well as the presidential primary election, and there possibly might be a water bond election. All those will be managed on the postings will go up, the warnings will go up on July 3rd. Technically, this is actually, there'll be 2 to 3 separate elections occurring on August 13th. Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is there a time frame if somebody's interested in joining the board and they want to run in that? August 13th election?
Yes, they need to let us know. The warning will have to be issued July 3rd.
July 3rd.
So they need to get something in before then.
Yeah, so if
Okay.
people are interested, please step forward, and all you need, I believe, is 10 signatures.
Yeah, you need to do
It's not
that.
many.
Yeah,
You need to put in a petition which you can get from.
right, now I'll
the select
put
board,
petitions online.
The clerk's office or online, and you need to get 10 people to sign it.
Yep.
Right, so we are going to and there are all these complicated things. We have to warn the election 40 days before the election.
Mhm.
So that's why getting it sooner.
July 3rd, yep. Okay.
So July 3rd is the drop dead date. We'll get the warnings out and please step forward if you're interested. Once again, if no one runs, then the board can have people.
But we still need somebody to step forward either way.
Yeah, but we have to have this election
Right.
first, so.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Thank you, Carl.
Okay, yeah, very good. And what about the rest of your report?
Well, I think that the town finances are in very rough shape. And the way to address this is we need to have an audit, absolutely. But in order to have the audit, in other words, a professional outside team coming in, we need to have things cleaned up professionally by a bookkeeper prior to the audit. Otherwise, the audit will end up being incredibly expensive and not as helpful. I have put feelers out. I posted something on the league website for a position basically called an assistant town treasurer. If we get this would be a credentialed person who knows NEMRIC, who has experience in bookkeeping, maybe start them at 24 hours a week. And that person might be able to transition into being the town clerk, the town treasurer, because we could separate out the positions and have basically a credentialed full-time person at that post. I'm still feeling my way through the pay scales. I understand completely that this is not in the current budget, and that and the audit are expensive. What I would say is that the savings from the town clerk treasurer position, my current position, the salary would be greatly reduced. You know, if we brought on a full-time treasurer, the town clerk treasurer's salary would obviously be impacted. But I think that we're looking at, to be very frank, I think it's going to be a slow process because you know, there's no simple fix. So bear with me and I'll keep everybody in the loop. I think in the interim, the select board might consider forming committees around what it is that the actual job descriptions are for the town clerk and the town treasurer. I can be helpful in that regard, but we have time for that because I really want to get a you know, a credentialed, seasoned bookkeeper on board to help us unwind a lot of uncertainty.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
For Brandon. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Right now with a combined position that is town clerk and town treasurer,
Yes,
it's a 40-hour position, I presume. So the person who does that or has done that, like Linda in the past, divided her 40-hour week. So whenever treasury type work was needed, treasury, bookkeeping, she would do that. If it was administrative stuff, she would do the town clerk stuff. Are you saying that in the future, we would have like a half-time town clerk and a full-time
I
treasurer?
think those are discussions that need to be had in terms of what the demands of the job are. Let me be very clear that the positions and job and responsibilities and demands have greatly changed over the years. Plainfield, for the past at least I think half a century, has combined the roles. So there isn't a great understanding of where things lie.
Mhm.
Could we have, for example, a full-time treasurer who is a 3-day a week person who handles accounts payable, accounting for money spent in terms of there's a very arduous government process in terms of getting, for example, FEMA money. You know, I spent you know, I'm still chasing down the money that we're owed. And one of the challenges is that the people that you work with suddenly move on to something else. So both of the FEMA key people
Mhm.
that I've been working with one is leaving next week, one has left. The
Well,
good news is that,
speaking to that just
Yeah.
briefly, because I know Marshall had a different but similar situation to deal with. That we were offered, that is, town of Plainfield was offered an opportunity to tap into extra funds available from the feds so that we could hire additional administrative help just to do the FEMA stuff, because this is all flood related, the extra time. And it was refused at the town clerk's office to have that additional assistance. It was pushed back. But if we still could take advantage of that, there might be the money to at least wrap up the FEMA stuff at the
at this point, the ship has sailed. We have basically, I got a letter today. I think we'll be collecting two tranches, one 13,000, one 17,000. And then there's the largest tranche, which is not, it's a complicated system. I don't know the exact number. I can't be given it yet because it hasn't gone through all the processes. But it could be as much as, you know, $200,000 to $250,000.
Yeah, I was thinking quarter million.
Yeah, and but at this point, we need to you know, just plow through it.
Okay.
I mean, for the future,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that, but I think that this is where, you know, having, you know, seasoned people who know numbers, who understand the process, can save the town a huge amount of money. I mean, there's, yes.
So Charlie Cogdill pointed out that it came up on the screen, now it's gone, but his comment was something along the lines of, and Charlie, jump in and correct me if I get this wrong. The pay for the treasurer is set at town meeting,
Correct.
so we can't just change.
No, I understand. I mean, there are technical, he's absolutely right.
Right,
I can't simply give up some of my salary for that, but I think that there might be, I'm really talking more about in the future. I must warn everybody that the salaries that a lot of these positions are commanding are sort of higher than what we are used to paying. And that's just, I guess, the way things are. But I want everybody to understand that we're approaching this with the taxpayer in mind in terms of trying to save money. The expenditure of a certain amount of money now, I think, will pay huge dividends. I mean, there's a huge amount of very, very manual, cumbersome work that can be greatly improved. And I think that if we have somebody in here to sort of be on our side in-house to clean up the mess, then that will greatly aid us.
Can I ask the question?
Sure.
Is Linda still working?
Linda is working tomorrow. This will be her last day.
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow will be her last day, and Linda's been wonderful.
Yes.
The roles and the time, even in the 2 years that she's gone, things are a little bit different in terms of how. I mean, she was aghast at the FEMA. You know, I was trying to walk through her. You know, because she had done this in the past.
Right.
It's a much more layered bureaucratic system, even more so than when she managed it.
So one thing I just want to say, I'm hoping that any positions you bring in,
Mhm.
they're in-house, no working from home. Cause that was one of our big.
Well, I
gripes.
think that's an interesting point, and once again, the committees can discuss that issue. The
Mhm.
problem we have is if you want to attract somebody
Why not?
who knows this work,
Mhm.
this is not the same kind of situation that maybe you're used to.
Right.
Where working 5 days a week is just a thing.
Mhm.
So there might possibly be candidates who have a skill set, who say, hey, can I work from home these days and this and that? And I don't think it would be prudent to dismiss them out of hand,
No,
but I certainly understand it. This comes back to work ethic and understanding, because there are people who effectively work from home.
Right.
Sir.
Eric Blaisdell, Times Argus. I have a technical question. I don't know if you guys have an answer for it, but so when the town voted to expand the select board, it immediately became 5.
Right.
So if the town voted to make the clerk and treasurer appointed, do you need to appoint Graham now? It's like.
No,
it's elected.
the way the law is written is they have the right to replace me within 40 days of the election if they so desire.
So you're
After that,
facto.
so I'm essentially, I mean, unless they want to replace you right now, I'm here for the longer haul. I think that this, in order to do it right, I think it would be best to have a smooth transition. But that's what the law says. And so if the town votes to replace the town clerk or town treasurer, there's 40 days from the election where they can act on that. I mean, if there were, credible candidate or sitting in the wings, I would present that to the board and they could make the decision. But I think it's going to take us a little while.
But Eric's question was, so you can continue without us appointing.
Correct.
Okay.
My understanding is that if I'm elected and not unappointed after 40 days, I serve my term. That's my reading of it.
Okay.
That's what I
I
read.
think, because we can appoint you right now, just to have Beth.
Sure.
I mean,
If you want.
I think that might be a good idea.
Okay, yeah,
I move
that's
we
fine.
appoint Graham Tobin to be the clerk,
And
treasurer, clerk and treasurer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
I just want to make sure there's no question that you're acting legally, so.
Yeah, great. No, thank you. Okay, super.
All right, great. Thanks for the question, Eric. Are we done with the town clerk's report?
Yeah, let me just run downstairs. I just want to see if there's something for the road commissioner report, but go on
Okay.
whatever you need to go.
Okay, the next thing would be the Bean Road, I think. If there's anything you'd like to ask or say about.
Well,
that.
as I had emailed you earlier, I wanted the lawyer, Michael,
Right.
whatever, to attend and answer questions instead of having to go through you, but
And he did answer the question, but unfortunately.
Not.
There were reference to the petition. and we
right,
have-
which I don't know what the questions are.
Well, I'll get it and I'll send it to you now.
Okay.
I'll have the answer.
But I noticed at the top of it, it says, where it said Ashley Lynch, we are
Right.
being sued.
Right.
I mean, what was it that they received?
A complaint from our lawyer, I think, which if I have that, I'll send you that. too.
Okay, cause
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they got.
Okay, yeah,
I was thinking it was like an eviction notice.
no, we can't evict them,
Yeah, I heard that,
right,
that deflated.
right, yeah.
But anyways, okay, so, and then, I'm being told that they're filing for a petition, or what was that?
Permit,
Permit,
right.
for what? They don't own the property.
Well, whoever owns it may be filing, I don't know, yeah. We need to be with the permission of the owner or the owner has to.
Well, the only one I know, it's in probate,
Yeah,
and it's the sister.
right,
And like she said, the last person that Melanie ever would want there is who's there now, Devin.
yeah, but Melanie's not here anymore.
Exactly, but anyways, again, my thing is, how can you file for a petition when you don't own the property?
Well, somebody owns it, and if it's in probate and it's gonna go to one of the heirs, and as long as one of the heirs.
So we still, probate's not settled as far as.
I
we
don't know, yeah, so we'll have to take that up when we look at the petition, if
Okay.
it's valid.
Yes.
We have to make sure it's a valid petition. That's-
Yeah,
that's-
because something's been sent to Karen's Story.
Right.
And I'm like, we've been down this road before, they're totally out of compliance with everything.
Yeah.
And then I see on the bottom where they answered, she put her residence as Berry, he put his as 79 Beaver. Which we know wasn't right.
Yes, Chris Dittmeyer, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. My question was, maybe you said this and I just missed it, because sometimes the sound isn't great. But what type of permit has been applied for? A permit to do what?
I don't recall offhand, I think it was.
We don't know.
A permit to be there in some form, maybe it was a permit, maybe it was a permit for the 6 months, or maybe it was a permit to extend past 6, I don't know.
Ryan went online to see, find it, he couldn't find anything.
Call the clerk's office during business hours and ask them, they should have, I can tell
But
you.
I thought it went to Karen's Story.
It goes to the clerk's office, that's where it'll be. She needs to work on it, but she's about to resign, she's
I know.
not retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Michael?
I just was
Which-
wondering if it was a building permit or a
Yeah.
requesting a variance for something. I
Sure.
couldn't hear that at all.
Let me see if I have some information out right. I don't know what kind of permit it is, you'll have to call the clerk's office during business hours to find out. I'm
Okay,
sorry, were
thank-
you able to hear that?
Thank you. I did hear that. Thank you.
So,
Yes,
so the question I have is, the question I have is very simple, which is, can Attorney Tarrant be encouraged to tell you, to keep the select board up to date as to the state of?
oh, yeah, he
probate?
is doing that.
So do you said you didn't know where the probate was, but
I assume it's not resolved, because the last I heard from him, it wasn't resolved.
maybe you could ask him to tell you who would be representing the property, who would be allowed to give a permit, so then you could reject any other one
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with him,
That would be helpful, yeah.
I will call the town clerk's office.
yeah, that'd be great. We should be able to look it up. We should be able to look it up and see what it was.
Because there's no way that's gonna be extended from 6 months to a year.
I don't know what, you have to see what they're planning.
Oh, yeah, okay, thank you.
What was the rest? Well, okay, so they replied on their 21-day thing,
Yeah, and
okay,
it also said in there that there's a court date.
yes, July 8th,
18th.
which I saw that you said that it's gonna go in front of the judge, they're gonna talk about, basically, I guess, what's gonna happen forward.
Right,
And Michael suggested you guys do an executive meeting to discuss what
Right.
you guys are doing.
right,
Which I hope you're going to go forward
Right.
with this. We're this far into it, let's finish it.
depends on what he tells us as far as what our options are.
Yeah, now.
See, I thought we could evict them, now that I remember we can't evict them.
I think Brian had said that 2 years ago, we couldn't evict them, but you can impose the bylaws, which. It's a six month law.
Yeah.
And they're not in compliance. But again, how do you get them out?
I understand.
Okay.
So, We'll try to find the answer.
right, so then, okay, fees are being incurred,
Right.
who's tracking those fees? Anybody?
Well, Karen was, but, there was huge fees that had were incurred by the previous.
Okay, Karen Story,
Right.
okay.
You
But
can
it's-
you can calculate them after the fact, you don't have to keep track of them.
Okay, so, but it's not like every 3 months, like you get your tax bill in some places.
I'm not sure how we deal with fees like this.
Right,
But
do
we
they just
tend to
keep
do-
accumulating?
Yeah.
Right, and then do they get a bill?
At
Cause
some
it says
point-
they're being
At some point,
sued.
they have to be paid,
Right,
and usually the way that this kind of thing would be a lien on the property, when the property gets sold. Then that has to be paid before the property's transferred. That's what comes out of the sale,
right,
that's one way.
yes, right, which I understand that.
Right.
Okay, so I will call the town clerk's office tomorrow to find out about, are you listening to me? I'm calling tomorrow to find out about whatever permit, whatever they're filing for. Gavin and Ashley Lynch.
Right, I will find out, I'll try to contact
Karen Story.
Karen to get what the numbers are, and then I will, proceed with the lawyer on, getting a clearer understanding of how to get the money and what needs to be taken. I must say that I am very disappointed in Mr. Tarrant's lackadaisical approach to another matter. I asked him to write a promissory note 5-6 weeks ago, something that should have taken 2 days,
Yeah,
and he still hasn't done it.
okay, well, you should let me know.
Yeah, well, I didn't, I sort of had my plate full, but in
Yeah.
any case.
Yeah, let me know and I'll be in touch with you.
Yeah, tell him that
Can you send me an
promissory
email
note.
about that?
Yep,
Okay,
absolutely.
send me an email.
Yes,
I'll-
and this matter, I mean, this is, the problem.
He's been very responsive to me on this.
No, I know, but the point is that what the owners on Bean Road want is they want a clear path to know that there's heat under the tail of the people who are
Right.
occupying that house.
Right.
That's just has not happened, okay? And I think we can all talk about this and that. The bottom line is that, when you hire a lawyer, it's a lot like hiring a car mechanic. You have to be very forceful in terms of what you want.
Right, and I have,
And-
and he's
okay.
done everything that he can do, but because it was in probate, he couldn't do much. And so the question is, if it's out of once it's out of probate, then.
But you don't know if it's out of probate, right?
I don't know. It's
Okay, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. You do not know.
It's not his
why-
fault, I don't know.
It is his fault completely. Well, we have a very different opinion about how to manage this.
The last I heard from him was still in probate, he hasn't told me otherwise, so I think it still is.
So how long does it usually take to be?
I don't know, how many months, could be longer,
Point of information,
yeah.
when an estate is in probate, does not the probate judge assign an executor to represent the estate? In other words, isn't there one party, and then therefore, if somebody's filing permit, it says not that one party, you can immediately reject the
I
permit.
don't.
I don't
we
think
had a-
there's a family member in
We
this.
had,
case.
we had a go around about this, I could look it up now, but I'm not going to do that now, because we have a lot of other different things to get to.
Yeah.
He explained what the complication was with probate and why we can't act right now.
Yeah.
We're waiting for we're waiting for the probate to open, is what it was.
Right.
I don't know if it's been open,
Right,
but we're using the wrong nomenclature.
Well,
It's not whether it's closed, it's whether it's been open. Once it's been opened, then he can bring suit against, then the probate court will decide who's the right person to go with.
well,
And that hasn't
that said, it seems absolutely ridiculous that someone can pretend to represent the landowner without filing a permit. That should be just completely shut
But we're
down.
gonna find out we need to find out what they filed for, and then
Yeah.
we'll ask the lawyer, is that a valid thing? And, we'll get to the
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, that's not.
I appreciate your comments, but I really wanna get focused on,
Understood.
you're not involved in this, you're not a select board, you're not.
I'm involved with it, believe me, I'm a taxpayer and I'm also.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very much involved.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're gonna see this thing through. Thank you,
Yeah.
Graham. I will
We're
call you
trying our
tomorrow.
best.
I know, but it's just
I know, it's frustrating,
very much because I was deflated
Right.
when I got that email that said the town cannot evict.
So was I told.
And that's just, I wanted to, because now, as I put in there, we're dealing with a mini bike.
Right.
Yeah. Up and down the road,
What's a mini?
a little motorcycle,
It's,
little tiny.
it's motorized.
So he's going up and down our road, he's going up your road now, and he's heading up towards,
What
Rubens.
is it you don't like about it? It's noisy.
The noise, and he's an 11-year-old kid.
Oh, gosh.
It's illegal to be on the road, and what's he do? Stops right in front of Michael's and my house, and he does a little show for us
Right.
every night.
Okay.
But That's
Sounds like
okay.
in retaliation.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
Sure.
But, yeah, I need some answers and I will be contacting you because like I said, how can you file a permit on property you don't own?
Right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Things are going on in the next meeting.
Okay, so that's setting up the road. You finished your report, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's the driveway culvert stuff. This is part of the road report. I can explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the continuation of the road report. So the traditional town policy regarding driveway culvert has been that the town will put in a culvert if the owner purchases the actual metal culvert, so or plastic culvert. In other words, you get a road cut, the town you buy the culvert, the town puts it in. And that has worked for many, many years. Unfortunately, with our change in weather, Michael is noticing a huge increase of the cost of putting in these culverts because there's a little bit of a gray area in terms of if the culvert has to be replaced, does the town obligated to help in the replacement? And that's sort of a gray area, and sometimes yes, sometimes no. So what the request is to clarify the policy and basically make the culverts the responsibility of the homeowner.
Okay,
Period. Just very straightforward, that if you read through here,
so this is a new policy.
this would be a new policy.
And he wants to approve this tonight?
Well, if you want to sit on it for next week, it's good, I think.
Well, if we had gotten it ahead of time.
No, you should have gotten it ahead of time, and I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I
right.
just been a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, no, I
So,
understand.
so you absolutely should have, so if you want to do it for next meeting, that's fine, and read it, that's good. But essentially, the change would be that the town will not be spending man hours attaining, doing these things. And the current policy is that the road crew basically puts in the culvert for the homeowner.
But in the culvert, there's a ditch there that the town maintains presumably
Right.
along the side of the road. And if the homeowner is the homeowner required to have a culvert if they put a driveway across the ditch?
Yes, I think that
Because I imagine
there
the
are,
original policy was to make sure that
yeah,
the town had culverts that worked for the town.
right, I think that this policy addresses that, if that isn't, addresses the overall thing, if you want to add to it to.
Yeah, it's at the bottom, it
Yes.
says, if damage to town highway is caused by improper public installation
Yeah,
or inadequate maintenance is responsible for the property and making necessary repairs at his or her expense.
yeah, so if they don't get a culvert, it ends up being more expensive.
I think I have a question, which is, if the town is recommending, as this wording says, what the size of the culvert would be to pass the drainage under the driveway,
Mhm.
and that culvert fails, and in other words, if Michael says this needs a 12-inch culvert, it turns out that's not big enough and it fails, the homeowner is still held responsible.
Correct.
So, so
And if the homeowner wants to push for a 14-inch culvert, more expensive, I'm sure that Michael would be accommodating to that.
will Mike be able to come to the next meeting?
Yes,
Because I'd like to talk about it.
absolutely. No, that's fine. That's totally, I think that's very appropriate. And once again, I apologize for not getting
Sorry,
this to you. He came in about 2 days ago. I've just been swamped, so.
yeah, no, I don't,
Great.
no problem, I mean,
Yes.
but we can wait, because it would be good to talk.
Yep, that's good. Okay.
All right, so that'll be on the next agenda, will be the town of Plainfield driveway culvert policy. All right. Next thing on the agenda,
Do you want to do that contract?
yeah, let's do the, well, did we add, we need to add that. Yeah, we need- I mean, to the agenda for.
Yeah.
Approve emergency management expenditure. Is that what we're talking about?
What, very quickly, this, there was a bidding process and 2 companies put in bids to do the air conditioning for the ground floor of the town hall. Reason to air condition is so we can have a cooling center for overly hot weather for people to retreat to. The 2 companies weren't this. They were bidding on exactly the same mini split air conditioner, so it was apples and apples.
Yeah.
And the local company, the one that's closer to us, actually bid or proposed $1,000 more, which by itself would not to give them the contract. But the other contractor is also getting us offered to get us an efficiency Vermont rebate for part of the cost. So we have decided to go in evaluating bids and recommend that the contract be given to Vermont Energy. That would require a signature from the select board to approve the contract going forward. All the money to pay for this is coming from the funding we received on Tuesday.
Okay,
So it's paid for already.
okay, so I need a motion,
I motion that we,
I think.
I'll sign.
approve, so you need approval to.
I need, you actually have something to sign. There are 2 copies of this, of it up there. And then I'm going to send one to the contractor tomorrow with a deposit check.
Hang on, let me get the name of it so we can identify it properly. Alright, so we have a motion, this is good deal.
There's one and there's a second copy here, so
The
the signature line is in the back.
Okay, so we need a motion to authorize the chair of the select board to sign the contract with Vermont Energy and Contractor Supply Corporation for the installation of a air conditioning for the town hall.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I'll move it.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. All right, so I'll sign.
There's 2 copies, one for our records and one.
So I
for
still
them.
need to sign both.
Yes, please.
This has a date of April 8th on it. I don't know why that was put in there.
Oh, that may be, yeah, you can change that.
I will.
I'll send them the one that doesn't have to change, but we can keep the one that change for our records.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because I also. Missed other parts of this. You can keep this one. Well, this is different.
It's the same, it's exactly the same thing. It's just.
Well, it's not it's not exactly the same in the sense that the appearance is different, that's what.
Oh, okay, it's in 3,
It's
it's,
different format, I'm not saying.
yeah, it's in 3
The
separate
substance
pages.
is different, it's just.
Wording is identical.
Thank you, Michael, for doing this.
Yeah. And so.
And just FYI, the contractor for the generator, which is the bigger approval that you gave a couple of weeks ago, has given me an August 1st date for that,
Great.
which also will be the day that the generator will be moved down to the present old generator will be moved to the municipal building. So August 1st. So I'm working with Michael to help prep the site for that, Michael Bingham. And next time you meet, I will be bringing 2 buyout proposals to you for FEMA buyout.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Michael.
Let's have it tomorrow for now.
So I think we're up to.
Yeah, sure, maybe, I don't know.
Want me to-
What?
You have to sign
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. Or looking at in the hall.
Okay, thanks very
Yeah,
much.
sure, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're up to approval of warrants.
Oh, my God.
Michael?
Thank you for all your help during town meeting too.
What's that?
Thank you for all your help during town meeting.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, take care.
Yeah.
All right, approval of warrants, you want to make a motion, somebody?
I'll move that we sign the warrants that
Yeah.
have been,
Right here, these ones right here.
accounts payable May 20 and 21, 2024. That's accounts payable, and then payroll is May 15 and 18. 2024.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
All right, all warrants were approved unanimously. Approval of draft minutes from April 22nd, May 9th, and May 13th. I'm, but
Or I approved to pass.
you moved that we approve those, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, those were approved unanimously. When do you want to have the next select board meeting? I think we're supposed to have it on. With the 2nd and 4th. Mondays, do we want to stick with that? Or do we want to do something different?
What's the next one?
The next, it would be the 10th, June 10th. at 6 o'clock.
Okay,
I'm okay with that, but if you guys, we can change it.
okay,
All right, so the next selectmen review will be June 10 at 6 o'clock. We'll stick with the normal schedule of first and fourth. Second and fourth, excuse me.
wait,
Okay, now we're up to a motion to adjourn, I think, or is there anything else?
we should sign this, we have to sign.
Yeah, sign, yeah, we don't need to, we can do that after the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I motion that we adjourn.
And I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. With a 3-member, we have a 5-member board, so we're gonna need seconds, that's right. We didn't use to need seconds.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm not very.
Yeah.
we have on the next agenda, but how we're gonna get the process of elections going, or do
I'm gonna
you
post on the website, an explanation and get the things out there.
Okay.
And I can give the timetable.
Good, so Eric, you gotta hear.
Working here?
Yes, I mean, I know you're- not just because you're mad. but you're overall-
Get sick of it. I'm not very comfortable right now. This is just a little short.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're fine. Okay, fine. Yeah,
We're gonna just take you off, right, for this time meeting. Thank you so much.
Absolutely sure.
Yeah, thanks. Hope you're best.
Yeah, feel better.
I have the procedure work.
Thank you.
That was what?
Yeah,
The procedure next week, so.
Okay.
all right, take care.
You have to wait for it. I was not,
You what?
no, I still.
That's too bad.
Yeah, how are you doing? Ben? Didn't have a chance to ask you, but
Well, I had
you're
this,
getting around.
that's traumatic, and also I had the traumatic cataract in my eye.
It's
Been
quite
taking months to, so finally on July 18th, it's gonna be, I'm gonna have surgery.
So, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, it helps.
you keep saying, did you hear? I don't know. Yeah, the vertigo seems to be better, maybe it's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's a strain when your eyesight is affected.